Once upon a time, in a quiet town by the sea, there lived a humble carpenter named Elias. He wasn't rich. He didn't have much, just a small workshop, a few worn-out tools, and a heart full of faith. But in that workshop stood something special, a beautiful table, carved from olive wood. It was his masterpiece. Every curve, every mark, every groove had a story. Sometimes, Elias would gently run his fingers along the grain and whisper, "This table reminds me of God's grace." Every mark has a purpose, just like every moment in life. People from all over admired the table. Wealthy merchants offered him bags of gold for it. But Elias always smiled and said softly, "This table is not for sale. It's more than wood and nails. It's a piece of my faith." The villagers shook their heads. "Elias, you're foolish. You could sell that table and live comfortably." But Elias only replied, "A man's life isn't measured by what he owns, but by what he believes. Jesus taught us to store our treasures in heaven, not on earth." Then one night, a terrible storm swept through the town. Lightning flashed, the wind howled. When the storm passed, Elias's workshop was gone, burned to ashes. His beloved table destroyed. The villagers came running, shaking their heads. "What bad luck! You should have sold it when you had the chance." Elias looked at the blackened remains and whispered, "Maybe it's bad, maybe it's not. The Lord knows what I do not." Days turned into weeks. Then one morning, a sailor from the port came searching for him. "Elias," he said, "I found something floating near the shore." It was a piece of the olive wood table, strong, smooth, and beautiful. Even after the storm, the sailor admired it so much that he offered Elias a job to build furniture for the ships at the harbor. The villagers were amazed. "You're so lucky. You lost your table, but gained a better life." But Elias only smiled again. "Maybe it's good. Maybe it's not. God's plan unfolds one step at a time." Months passed. Elias worked at the docks, crafting tables and benches for sailors. But one afternoon, while lifting a heavy plank, he slipped. His hand was badly injured. He could no longer hold his tools. The villagers pitied him. "Oh, Elias, first the fire, and now your hand. What will you do now?" Elias winced in pain, but his voice was calm. "I will trust in Jesus. His path is sometimes rough, but it always leads to good." A week later, the sound of cannons echoed from the sea. Pirates had attacked the harbor. They raided the docks, capturing workers and taking them away. The very craftsmen who had worked beside Elias were gone. But Elias was safe. He was home that day, resting his injured hand. When the villagers heard the news, they were speechless. "Elias, you were right. Your injury, it saved your life." Elias looked toward the heavens and whispered, "Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord. His ways are higher than ours." He closed his eyes and smiled. The ashes, the storm, the wound, they all made sense now. Sometimes, what looks like loss is actually protection. Sometimes, what feels like pain is preparation. And sometimes, what breaks us today is what saves us tomorrow. Elias's faith never wavered. He learned that every piece of our story, even the painful ones, has a divine purpose. Moral of the story: life moves between joy and sorrow, gain and loss. But through it all, God is working. So when you face storms, remember Elias and trust in Jesus, even when you don't understand, because what's lost in your fire may one day return in his light.